that is something people have been waiting for quite some time. There's a lot of talk about recoil gearboxes using gas blowback to make the recoil. And what about an electric gearbox that actually recoils as much, if not more, than a gas blowback? Well, the Aztech Taranis basically does that. It's a CNC gearbox running electric gears and components and MOSFETs, but has a heavy weighted stainless steel bolt or cylinder or piston, whatever you want to call it, that creates recoil. It fires just like a normal AEG. It retracts and pushes forward to fire, but with the weighted bolt. So this video, we're just going to give you a little bit of a rundown on the difference between an AEG Taranis or an AEG scythe. So as you can see in front of us, we have a box full of all the parts you need, well, most of the parts you need to run a scythe or any AEG electric gearbox, plus gears, plus bushings, etc. The interesting part is these parts here equate to around about $500. Now, a Taranis comes with essentially all those parts included because they are proprietary to suit a Taranis, and it's also $499. You have pistons, you have springs, you have an Apache all built into a Taranis, but you get the recoil of an electric AEG blowback gearbox. So let's have a little look at a comparison. We've got two APS Venoms. This one is a completely stock. It's not a built scythe, so it's just a standard 320 FPS blaster on an 11 volt battery running at around about, as I said, 320 FPS and something like 11 rounds a second. And when you shoot it, zero recoil. You know, I can just balance it on my fingers, and bar me pulling it with my finger, there's no movement. On auto, there's barely some vibration. So that's a fairly normal AEG. Yes, you can get a little bit more recoil out of a normal AEG with bigger springs and higher FPS, but it doesn't really create a mass moving within the gearbox or within the receiver to create some recoil or some blowback. So if we put the Taranis in the same blaster and shoot it with the same loose fingers, you can see we've got quite a lot of movement. Even when shouldered into my shoulder, put it to auto, and you get the similar kind of movement, but obviously faster. So this heavy bolt, retracting back and forward, gives you similar recoil, if not more, we haven't had one side by side to be able to test it, to a gas blowback rifle. It's actually a very similar kind of recoil to maybe a real 223 or 556 AR-15 rifle with a small muzzle brake on it, which is mitigating a little bit of recoil. So that's pretty damn cool. Now, the biggest difference really with the Taranis, as we said, is it comes with essentially everything, bar your gears, motor, MOSFET, trigger, etc., because that is all your choice of what you want to run. That is one minor limitation though of a Taranis, is it's only designed to run to around about 18 rounds a second at its maximum rate of fire. Whereas a normal AEG, of course, you can go as fast as you like. But with the big heavy recoil, and it's designed to mirror a real firearm, and let's say an M16 will run at around about 900 rounds a second, which is around about 900 rounds a minute, so that's around 15 rounds a second. Why go any faster than 15 to 18 for a recoil gearbox? $500 for everything, plus gears, plus motor, MOSFET. $500 for everything, plus gears, plus motor, MOSFET. You choose which way you want to go. Full CNC gearbox, but one, of course, has a built-in Apache. The other one requires an Apache. Has a SCM 440 stainless steel CNC piston rack. So that's the strongest material we can possibly CNC machine to put on your bolt, because of course it has to retract this big bolt. And the piece of the resistance, the last but final coolest part, Now you can't always see it unless you have more pre-cock on. Let's see if we can get the bolt back a bit. Oh, okay, we're on auto. No. Oh, there we go. You can just see we've got a 556 or a 223 shaped bullet casing as part of the piston head, so it is fully visible inside the dust cover when the bolt is retracted. So if it doesn't get any more realistic than that for a player that goes for that full realism, which is of course why I'm dressed in my full plate carrier, because this is more designed towards your immersive milsim, if you want to bracket it that way, player that likes stuff to look like real guns, real firearms, but is of course a toy. Jump on the website, on the Aztech website, there is a full breakdown, I'll show you on my phone here, a full breakdown of the parts and everything involved in the Taranis, and a comparison of the parts involved in a scythe, and you will see $499, they match. Plus your gears, plus whatever running gear you want to run, and you can run a full recoil electric gearbox. And I'll leave you with the Taranis.